What's up, and thank you for listening to the Steve and Jay Show. I am not Steve, but don't you worry your pretty little heads, because Steve's on vacation. He won't be back until next week, so I'm flying solo this week, and I thought I would do something a little bit different today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the broken gimmick with the Hardys. If you could please click subscribe down below, and don't forget to click the little bell if you would like to receive notification when we post new stuff. I've vowed not to post things at the odd hours of the morning that we usually record. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon on Saturday afternoon. It's very rare for us to record at this hour. Again, it's part of the solo thing, I suppose. Anyway, odd for us to be recording at this time in the afternoon, so we promise not to post things at strange hours. You can follow us on Twitter at Steve and Jay Show. Search for us on Facebook. We're pretty easy to find. Just click the hourglass and search for Steve and Jay Show. We should pop up there too. If you'd like to send us an email, you can find us at thesteveandjayshow@gmail.com. We are also working still on getting our website set up. steveandjayshow.com is the eventual home. But, so on with the show. I thought I would talk, like I said, about Matt Hardy and his broken Matt Hardy gimmick, and Jeff Hardy and brother Nero and Willow, which are two pretty big. Willow is a bigger character in the setup and in Jeff Hardy than in the broken thing, but it plays a role. Anyway, so the rivalry between the Hardys started when Jeff and Matt had won the TNA Tag Team Championship. Then Jeff went out on his dirt bike and broke his leg. So they had to vacate the titles. Well, while Jeff was down, Matt competed on the singles scene. When Matt beat EC3 for the TNA World Championship, Jeff said that, the character said that it changed Matt in the way he was. He became more arrogant, and then they changed the character of Matt. He became more arrogant. He yelled out, "I'm an icon," for his intro music. And so they played up the whole the championship went to Matt's head thing. Very cool. And so they started a rivalry between Jeff and Matt, with that whole thing being kind of the center case of, well, you're not the same since you won the title type thing. And they had an I Quit match that is the match that really set off the whole broken thing. Like, this was the match that essentially broke Matt Hardy as far as the character went and the way they played it out. Cool match, fun match, good match, one that is definitely worth looking up. Again, it's an I Quit match. It was on TNA Impact, April 19th, 2016. If you want to look it up, it's a fun one to watch. It's a good match. It started out a little bit on the slow side. There was some in-ring action. There was some submissions back and forth, mostly Jeff on Matt. At one point, it looked like maybe Matt might have to tap, and before he did, though, Rockstar Spud came into the ring, and Rockstar Spud was one of the henchmen type of Matt. So Spud came into the ring and broke it up. There's no disqualification in the match, of course, so match continues. But the submission hold was broken. Jeff then turns his attention to Rockstar Spud and slams him so hard he practically threw him right through the mat. Then things got really interesting when they made their way to the outside of the ring. This is when, to me, the match really went from being just a pretty good match between two people that you didn't really think were going to be in a match together, to a match that was like, holy, things got good. Things got real good. So they go to the outside of the ring. Matt ends up with a pipe, and he's taking pokes at Jeff with the pipe, and he grabs a light too and hits Jeff with the light, and then he grabs a chair and he's hitting Jeff with the chair, and Jeff's on the ground and he's choking him with the chair, and Jeff's refusing to quit, and Matt is asking the referee to ask Jeff if he quits. He doesn't quit, of course. Then Matt puts Jeff's head in the chair and tells him, I'm going to end this. I'm going to end you right now. You need to quit. I'm going to end this. And is going to deliver the twist of fate on the outside of the ring with the chair. And then they're back, not only in the outside of the ring, they're through the stands and now have made their way to like this backstage, back of the back area. And he says, I'm going to end this right now. And Jeff bites his thumb and gets him to let go. He then, with the chair still around his neck, is jabbing at Matt with the chair, and then he takes the chair to Matt and does this real cool thing where he runs up these stairs, which will come into play later. Runs up these stairs and rail slides down and hits Matt with the chair. It's a fun match. Once it got to the outside of the ring, things got a lot more interesting. Jeff then goes over to this little side area that's next to these stairs and grabs some guard railing and sets it up like a table. And there's a ladder there that he sets up, and he's gonna lay Matt on this table that he's made and give him the old swanton off the ladder, is what he was going for. So he has Matt up on the makeshift table made of guardrail, and he goes to climb on the ladder, and before he can make it, Matt gets him and delivers the side effect slam thing through the guardrail. Now it looks like Matt's got the upper hand. Kind of a cool little moment where the broadcasters say, "Oh, we apologize for the gritty, dark picture because we didn't expect them to end up fighting here," type thing. It was just kind of the way they played it up was super cool, because obviously they knew where they were going, and they could have very easily put some extra lighting over there that would have been very awkward, and the way they did it was very cool. It was very cool. they end up going back and forth again. So Jeff ends up getting Matt onto a table that Matt had found, that Matt had Jeff in a compromising position on earlier. They did the whole table turnaround thing that they always do. Jeff ends up on Matt and has him in the sleeper hold, and Matt goes out. The official tells Jeff, look, what am I going to do? He's out. He can't quit. Jeff says, no, he has to quit. This isn't over. He has to quit. He then goes over to the ladder, and he's going to presumably swanton him from the ladder to the table now instead of the guardrail table. He's going to now do it to an actual table. And as he's up there, he points up to the rafters up at the top of this staircase that he had climbed halfway up earlier. And the announcers, oh, where is he pointing? Where is he pointing? Oh, it's kind of a cool little moment. And it's all back, like in this back area. So it's kind of dark but it's cool. It's cool. So Jeff goes over to the stairs. He climbs his way up the stairs, all the way up to the top. And at the very top of this staircase, that the announcers on TV, they said that it was 30 feet, 30 to 35 feet. It was what they had said on TV, but I don't know how high it was. It was pretty dang high, though, and I'm afraid of heights, so it was too high for me no matter what. But I can't imagine even standing on the ledge that he was standing on to jump, let alone jumping and flipping myself over like he did. So anyway, he delivers, goes all the way up to the tippy top, gets on this little platform, and delivers a swanton that they called the Swanton from the Heavens. And it was pretty dope. It was pretty cool. He busted the table. He busted himself. He busted up Matt. Matt wasn't moving already, and he really wasn't moving now. Jeff was holding his ribs and his back and just had the winced face and just looked like he was about to die. And cool moment when Rebby, Matt's wife, came into the scene and was yelling at the paramedics because they were having trouble getting Matt on the backboard because of the table that was busted up. Anyway, so that match supposedly was the match that quote unquote broke Matt Hardy, sent Matt to the hospital. The next week, Rebby was in the ring. She was talking to Jeff. She had Rockstar Spud at her side, and she was talking about how Matt is changed now, and he's cold now, and that Jeff broke Matt, and that that he would now have to deal with the Matt Hardy that he created, basically. And she spit in Jeff's face and slapped him pretty good. Wailed on him pretty good. And she's yelling at Matt some more, or at Jeff some more, and goes to hit him again. Jeff grabs her arm and kind of almost leans into her like he was going to do something to her, and Rockstar Spud gets in between them and is pulling Rebby away from Jeff and saying, oh, you've already done enough, that sort of thing. And as Jeff turns his back to the whole thing, Rockstar, of course, then attacks his knee and takes him out. And looked like I thought he was going to deliver a twist of fate to Jeff. Rockstar Spud was, and he's yelling, "This is for you, Matt. This is for you," to the camera. And Jeff reversed it, of course, and ended up beating the hell out of Rockstar instead. So that was kind of the early groundwork for Matt is now a changed man after that match. He's not only did you hurt him, but you broke him, kind of thing. Matt then cut a promo where he was backstage somewhere, or it looked like even underneath the grandstand somewhere. It was kind of like a gritty, dark type promo. He had the hood on, so you couldn't see the hair yet. You couldn't see the white streak in the hair yet. But he had the hoodie on, and he was saying that, talking to his brother Jeff, and saying that, calling him Brother Nero instead of, he didn't refer to him as Jeff anymore. He was now referring to him as Brother Nero, and saying that with no regard for him or his family, he delivered the swanton from the heavens and could have ended his career, could have ended him, could have taken him from his wife and his beautiful baby boy, and could have ended his career and had no disregard for him, and that the doctors had told him that he shouldn't wrestle again after that, and that he loved wrestling compared to Jeff, who was good at it. But he said that exactly. He said, "I love it. You're good at it, but I loved it. And you are going to take that away from me, and you had no regards in taking that away from me. You tried to delete me. I'm going to delete you." That type thing. He said, "You tried to erase me from this dimension." That's what Matt said, and he was going to then delete Brother Nero. So that's where the whole origin of the delete thing is he being Matt was going to delete his brother Jeff, whom he was referring to as Brother Nero now. And the promo was the first time, as far as I know, that he was referring to Jeff as Brother Nero. Jeff was later on in a match, and it was a tag team match against. Oh shoot! Their name just totally blew my mind. Oh, Decay. Hello. They had they were in a match against Decay, and Jeff was climbing to the top turnbuckle, and the lights went out. Lights came back on, and Willow, who is Jeff's alter ego, was standing at the top of the ramp twirling an umbrella. Jeff, of course, freaks out, because how could that possibly be that he's Willow and yet Willow is standing at the top of the ramp? So as he's standing there in shock, Decay gets the upper hand. They spray the mist in his face and end up with the pin and the win. I believe they sprayed his face at that time. I believe so. Maybe not. Maybe they didn't spray the mist. Maybe they just got the upper hand and the pin. But either way, the whole thing was that how could that be Willow when I'm Willow? Anyway. So after the match, they cut to backstage, and Jeff is irate. He's going crazy. How can that be Willow? What's going on? I'm Willow. He then decides that he's going to find Willow, and he starts searching the backstage area. You see him going through various areas, backstage, outside, inside. He's looking all over the place, And then he finally runs into this imposter Willow and calls it, I believe, a hell beast or something to that effect. Hell something. Hell child or hell beast. I think it's hell beast. And attacks him. Starts beating him with the umbrella that he had. As he's beating on this Willow, a second Willow comes from behind and starts attacking Jeff. Well, then Jeff turns his attention to that Willow, and as he's fighting off this second Willow, a third Willow comes from behind and hits Jeff with a chair. So there are now 3 Willows, and they're all standing over Jeff that has been beaten by this chair. Then Jeff scores a match against this imposter Willow. He refers to him, I believe, as Shadow Willow. So he's got this match against Shadow Willow, and he's asking all his creatures if they're behind him. The whole thing that he plays up to the crowd was really cool. I wouldn't mind seeing him bring the Willow character to WWE. I hope that's part of this lawsuit that they've got going on, because it looked like a pretty cool character, and he got the cool little saying, and it's fun. It's a neat little character. So, anywho. So anyway, Jeff has this match with his Shadow Willow, and he's going back and forth in the match, and he's beating the hell out of this imposter Willow, and second Willow comes into the ring, then third Willow comes in. They've got Jeff beat up in the corner, the two Willows, and the third Willow is got the microphone, and they do a cool little kind of synthesized voice thing with the imposter third Willow, and he says, put the puzzle together, the pieces fit. Yeah, that's what it was. Put the puzzle together, you see the pieces fit. And put the puzzle together. It was a cool little, like, creepy. Anyway, so then that Willow says that, pulls his mask off, and who is it but Matt Hardy? And he's got the blonde streak in the hair, or the white streak in the hair, and he's talking with a really odd accent, talking about how Jeff always loved Willow more than he loved him. Again, another play on the whole you love this more than me, you love that type thing. So cool character, cool way they played it out, cool storytelling. That's the part that I don't know what all they're going to bring into WWE. Are we going to do all this over again if they get it, or are we just going to go to he's Brother Nero and I'm Broken Matt, and I have this odd accent, and this is my homeboy Vanguard one, and we're all a team. And Matt being revealed, he then attacks Jeff and beats the heck out of him and puts him to sleep, just like Jeff did him on the table. They even refer to it. The announcer said, "Oh, just like he did to him." So they bring that part full circle, and at the end, Matt is on the mic, and he's again with the odd accent, and says, "All things come to an end, even the indestructible Matt Hardy, I believe, or Jeff Hardy." Yeah, that's what it is. Indestructible. That's what he called him. Everything comes to an end, even the indestructible Jeff Hardy. And that was like the last time that he referred to him as Jeff. From then on out, it was Brother Nero. Then they cut to backstage, and Jeff is battered and beaten, and he says, 3 willows. What's my brother doing? How could he do this to me? What's that? He's broken. He says he's broken our brotherly love by doing this. Willow's very sacred to me. That sort of thing. The Willow saying I have here on my notes is, we love, we hate, we die forever late in Willow's way. Pretty cool stuff, Jeff Hardy. Anyway, and that's another thing. Like I said, I don't know if the Willow thing's going to be part of this whole character thing and them. I don't know. What all are they going to bring over? I don't know if they can even bring any of it. So, anyway, TNA Slammiversary. They had Jeff, or Brother Nero now, Jeff and Matt had a match at TNA Slammiversary. It was a full metal mayhem match. Basically, they had a bunch of metal shit laying around the ring. And fun match, though. I like that kind of stuff. They were hitting each other with trash cans and jumping off ladders and slamming each other into tables and fun stuff. Hitting each other chairs. Fun. Good fun. Good mayhem. Good metal mayhem. So, Rebby Hardy is going to introduce her husband, though, and she has child in hand, and she introduces Matt as a broken Matt Hardy and says that he is here to delete Brother Nero. And out comes Matt, and he's in the fancy jacket, and it's got the classical music playing, and his goofy accent, the blonde or the white streak is in the hair. It's the full on. He's now full on broken Matt. So the two of them had a series of matches. They had this Metal Mayhem match. They had a 6 Sides of Steel match. I believe they had another match as well. And got to a point where Jeff finally goes to his brother and says, look, what's it going to take to end this brotherly feud? And Matt says, what I need is one more match. And he says, I need to win, because he hasn't won yet. And he needs his redemption. And he suggests that it is for the Hardy brand. So the winner of the match gets the Hardy brand. And the match is to be held at the Hardy compound. They meet at the Hardy compound, or at Matt's house. They're playing it as Matt's house. And this is the part that I'm not too sure what all they're going to do. Also, in that, if they get the broken thing, are they going to do a lot of the off-site recordings that they did with the broken character? I don't know if they're going to bring that in too. So, it's an off-site film thing. Matt is playing the piano, and Jeff comes in and interrupts him. They eventually end up out in a shop where they have a ring set up, which is the ring where it all started, supposedly. And Matt's saying it all needs to end where it started. And he's standing in the ring saying it needs to end here. It needs to end where it started. Well, Jeff says, all right, let's end it right here, right now, then in this ring right now, and wants to climb in the ring and fight Matt. And Matt says, no, we're not doing it right now, but I'll sign this contract right now. Well, I'm sorry. He rolls out of the ring, and Jeff says, oh, are you going to sign the contract right now? Because he rolls out of the ring, and there's a table set up with a pen sitting there. So Matt slaps the contract down on the table and says, well, Brother Nero, you've got yourself a match kind of thing, and signs the contract. So he rolls back into the ring, and Jeff then goes to follow him into the ring, and at about that same time, wife Rebby is walking in with baby in papoose, and she throws the baby at Jeff, which is not really the baby, it's actually a fake baby, and Jeff catches the baby, and as he catches it, he also catches fire from Brother, and eventually he also then catches a side effect onto the table from the apron that looked like it really hurt because it was a big wood table. Anyway, I'm sure it didn't. They're professionals, but it looked like it hurt like hell. Anyway, so match is on now, and it's to be held at the Hardy compound, and it's going to be for the Hardy name. So and again, it's an all offsite type recording thing. They cut to Matt referring to his wife as Queen Rebecca, and his son is King Maxwell. And his gardener, I can't remember what he called his gardener. Anyway, they're all characters. Jeff is playing guitar at his house, and he is summoned to this match by Matt's army of, he calls them his army of aerial sword robots. And the leader of this army of aerial sword robots is Vanguard 1, who flies into Jeff's house, it's Jeff's house. Jeff hits one of the other drones with a guitar. It's pretty cool, which was probably pretty fun for him. Anyway, so Vanguard 1 projects this hologram of Matt that is inviting his brother, or commanding his brother basically, to come for this match. So he's summoning his brother to come for this match on the compound. So the match itself was outside. It happened at night. As the match was starting, they showed the referee, pulling up, and he's doing the "what in the world is this" type thing. Like, what did I just get myself into? He gets into the ring. Matt's there. Jeff's not there yet. Matt says that he's going to play this violin to summons his brother, and he plays this creepy, weird tune. And, of course, then Jeff pulls up on his dirt bike, and the fight is on. And it's a good back-and-forth little fight. Lots of aerial stuff, lots of good stuff, lots of flipping each other around, lots of... There's a moment when Jeff sets up a ladder in the corner and lays Matt out on it, and he does a swanton from the top ropes. It's pretty cool. Or top ropes. No, he doesn't do it from the top ropes. He goes outside of the ring and climbs up to the top of his tree, and does it from, I don't know how many feet up from the top of this tree, and half missed Matt, and it looked like it really hurt. It had to hurt his back. It had to. Anyway, it's worth seeing, because it's not a botch, but it looks like it hurt. Anyway, so he swantons from the top of the tree. They still end up going back and forth. That wasn't the end. Matt still kicks out. Jeff's just as hurt. Matt shoots, ends up getting to some fireworks, and actually shoots fireworks at Jeff at one point. Jeff is hiding off the corner of the apron as Matt is shooting fireworks across the ring. Then he grabs what looks like it's like a gardening tool, looks like an old school like sickle. And he grabs that and he says, "Oh, this is now going to end." And he's walking around the corner and he stops dead in his tracks and says, "Oh shit." And his brother says, "You're darn right, oh shit." And he lights his fireworks, and now he's shooting his fireworks at Matt, but Matt is wide open, out in the open, and Matt runs away from the ring towards this pond, and Jeff's still firing at him the whole way, and Matt hides behind a dilapidated boat, which he later thanked for saving and protecting him and gave a name. He named it Scarguard, I believe it was, because he went out on it and he eventually had a funeral for Brother Nero, or a burial. That's what it was, a burial. But anyway, so he's hiding behind this boat. Fireworks are all over it, hitting it all over the place. Then he and Jeff then end up locking up together. They end up in the water. They end up Willow ends up attacking Matt. And then the gardener comes up and tases Willow, and then they get in the water, and Matt basically drowns Willow, and then they go up to the shore. Ref comes in, pin. Matt thinks he won. He removes the mask from this Willow, and it's not Jeff, it's actually the gardener. Ta-da! So tricky Jeff. He end up fighting some more, and make their way eventually to this area that looked like a dirt bike track almost, and it had these large Hardy Brother symbols, that their little symbol thing, and at one of the top of one of the ramps was one of these very large symbols, like the size of a house, like big, like not quite a house, but big. So these big symbols. Then Jeff has Matt knocked down below at the bottom of this ramp. He climbs up a ladder that's handily leaning up against this symbol. He climbs up this ladder, gets to the top of the symbol, and gets to the top of the symbol, and he's going to do the swanton down on his brother, and out comes wife Rebby, or Queen Rebecca, to save the day. She's got a candle in hand that earlier in the day, before the match had started, it was King Maxwell's birthday. It was his first birthday, and as Matt was lighting the candle for his birthday cake, that was the classic #1 birthday candle, and he said that this was the eternal flame, and that this flame was what was going to delete Brother Nero. And It was going to be the final deletion of Brother Nero. And out comes wife Rebbe she's now Queen Rebecca, with the classic number 1 candle. Now at the end, she hands it over to Matt, and he lays over and lights this symbol on fire, and Jeff falls, takes a pretty hard fall, falls down off the top, and Matt goes over and pins him for the win. So now Matt owns Hardy. So it is Brother Nero forever. And he's deleted his brother. Then after that, they actually ended up getting back together as far as tag teaming. Matt always referred to Jeff, though, as an obsolete mule, and of course, Brother Nero. And Matt's character gets really this is something obviously that WWE isn't going to pull in, but he gets really weird where at one point he pulls a fan out of the crowd and he bites his ear off, and he's biting ears of opponents, and he's got blood dripping from his mouth, and they went really dark with it, but he flipped the F out. So that was kind of part of the character. That's the way he's broken. He's flipped out. But I think that they'll probably play it more to the side of when he was a babyface and less crazy and loony and wasn't biting ears off. And he told EC3 before a match that he was going to eat his cat. And I just don't see maybe the whole eat your cat thing, that because it was funny, but I don't see the biting of people working at WWE. I don't think that's going to happen. So they stayed in TNA for a while. They ended up feuding with Decay. They ended up winning the tag team titles from Decay after missing out. And then they ended up winning the tag titles. They ended up then deciding to leave TNA eventually and ended up in Ring of Honor, where they started a feud with the Young Bucks. And they had their little back and forth with the Young Bucks at Ring of Honor, and ended up winning the tag titles from the Young Bucks, and then losing it to the Young Bucks. And the night after they lost it to the Young Bucks was the night that they made their big surprise debut back in WWE at WrestleMania and won the tag titles themselves there. So that's why part of the reason why the Broken Gimmick is still kind of hanging in the air, because it was a bit rushed with them leaving Ring of Honor and then going to WWE. It happened boom boom one night, and then it happened one night they were Ring of Honor Championship match. The next night they were back in WWE. So I hope that Matt ends up getting his character back, because what they ended up doing with it was pretty funny, with his premonitions, and his accent was ridiculous, and it was fun. I don't know where they were going with it, but as far as what he was trying to do, as far as what the accent was, but it was funny. I know where they were going with it. It was funny. That's where it ended up. I don't know what the intention was, but it ended up being humorous. So I would think that that's probably what they're going to do if they do legally get it, is they're going to keep him babyface and probably just start referring to Jeff as Brother Nero, and he's Broken Matt, and he has this goofy accent, and they do funny shit. I'm hoping. I hope. And hopefully they put the belts back on him at some point too. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. I'm going to stop droning on now. Steve will be back next week, and things will be back to normal, and I won't bore you with just myself. So I want to thank some people out there that have kind of helped us out and have been chatting with us on Facebook. We've actually had a few people that have turned us on to some independent wrestling that we've ended up liking, and I would thank you individually, but there's been so many people. Just thank everybody out there. There's been some independent wrestlers, a handful of you, thank you, that have offered to do interviews. I actually finally just figured out how to do it, so we're probably going to be connecting with you guys here soon. Thank you guys again for listening. If you could please click subscribe down below. Don't forget to click that bell to get notification when we post our new stuff. SteveandJShow.com is eventually going to be our website. You can follow us on Twitter at SteveandJShow. Shoot us an email. Let us know what you think. Maybe some show ideas or anything like that. Or if you just want to tell us that we suck. The SteveandJShow at gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook. If you just search Steve and Jay Show, we should pop up. You'll see our little funky logo. Yeah, so anyway, find us, please. Thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate it this week. Steve appreciates it less this week, but next week he'll reappreciate it much more, I'm sure. Anyway, thank you guys. We love you guys. Thank you. Bye.